Welcome back to the Plus 3 podcast, episode 13. How's it going, dudes?
I'm doing great.
Yes. Christina, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's lovely Thursday night.
It's a beautiful Thursday night.
I'm actually enjoying the weather. It's so nice and cold.
Me too.
It's the best.
Me too, because I just run so hot. I'm just a really hot person. And so I get to go outside and cool down.
Steam just comes right off your body, Evan.
It just does, yeah. As soon as I leave my house in the morning and go to my car, I'm just steam. There's so much steam rolling off my body that I can't see a foot in front of me.
You're just a steam meat sandwich.
Someone should gift you a portable air conditioner so you always have it with you.
Yeah, I want a little belt air conditioner, like a fanny pack shaped air conditioner, just right there in my belt.
So when you're playing games, you're probably taking in the heat from the PC and then your body, and you're just blasting it to the whole house.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely. I needed some kind of solution because I'm just steamy all the time. But enough about.
Evan's a steam meat sandwich, baby.
I'm a steam meat sandwich. So, John.
Yes.
What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been really busy playing a lot of games.
Really?
What's new, right? What's new? But I found a new game called Blasphemous, and it's been taking up my whole life. It's fucking amazing. Well, first of all, it's kind of like a Metroidvania type game, like Dark Souls, Metroidvania, Castlevania, all that bullshit. And I'm not too familiar with those games. I've played Castlevania, but I never really got into them as much as everyone else is, and especially Dark Souls too. I liked Demon Souls, I enjoyed that, but then I couldn't get myself into Dark Souls, just because it was difficult to the point where. Well, okay, there, Christina. Why don't you just drop everything? It was too difficult to just continue on. I would just get really pissed off because I felt like I was never really making any progress. But Blasphemous is completely different. It has the difficulty of Dark Souls and the Castlevania games and stuff, but every time you die, you feel like you're actually making you're getting progress. So nothing once you die, you keep all your experience points, everything, nothing really disappears. Everything that you've collected doesn't disappear, so you always feel like you're accomplishing something in the game, even after you die. But this game, it's a 2D action platformer. Like I said, Castlevania, Metroid, Dark Souls. The world is it's open, so the map, you can basically go wherever you want. Some areas you'll need relics or something to get past certain things, gas, a cloud of gas and stuff, or else you'll take damage and shit. So you're just kind of adventuring out and just trying to find areas that you can just adventure into and collect items and fight enemies and stuff like that. The story so far, it's really religious, I believe. It's their made up religion, I want to say, but it's cool. It's all pixel art, and then there's a small amount of cutscenes in it, and just the way they did the cutscenes, it looks so nice. It's super cool. The enemies in the game are really cool. So the bosses and everything, you fight these gigantic bosses, and then the smaller enemies have a lot of detail in them. There's boobies. You can see boobies in the game. But yeah, I think this is kind of the first game that I really got into that's kind of the Castlevania type game. And I every time I play it, I get lost. I lose track of time. The other night I was playing it, and I was oh man, what time is it? Looked at the time, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm fuck, I have to go to bed and go to work. But yeah, there's also side missions that you can do in the game. So you'll just meet up with random NPCs, and they'll speak to you and kind of give you a hint on what you need to do. And then once you just adventure out, you'll basically find this item, and you'll be I wonder if this item is for this guy, and you'll just go back, talk to him. So there's a lot of backtracking too. So which is fine, but if you're really into the game, it doesn't even matter. You're just like, fuck it, I'll do it. But you can also upgrade your weapons and stuff like that, like your sword, and get like a dash attack, and get like a drop down attack. So once you're in the air, you can like attack downwards, and you'll like use your sword to like spike down onto the ground, and it will like hit all the enemies around you. You also have like mana, so you get these special abilities that you can use to attack other enemies. Like there's one that I have right now that you summon like a bunch of lightning bolts from the sky, and it just basically hits all the enemies in a certain radius. And then there's also like this lightning bolt thing that you can do. Just a lot of cool abilities in the game that I feel like every single one has a certain, like you will use it at times. Like even like the certain items that you get that has like perks. Like I'm going crazy right now with like all this random shit, but like there's just so much to this game that's is fucking cool. Yeah, like Evan, you like platformer games, like 2D platformer games. I would definitely recommend this game. Like it's difficult, and
it sounds like a time sinker though.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
It's just cool. Like you can like literally, there's multiple endings I believe in. I haven't finished it yet. I'm like 70% done it, but I'm pretty sure like there's like a bad ending and a good ending. And I'm pretty sure when you get the good ending, you have to do all the side quests and all the, do certain things in the level. But
it sounds kind of RPG like.
So it's okay. So you basically, when you receive these, it's kind of like Dead Cells in a sense. So like you'll receive these items, and all these items that you receive do certain abilities. So like there's one where if you have it attached to you, like a rosemary, it's called a rosemary. Is it rosemary bead? I can't remember.
Oh, rosary bead?
Yeah, so you basically, it's like that, and you basically you collect these items and you attach them to those beads. And if you have those equipped, then all of those abilities will be on your character. So like one of them is like, and they're not too intense. Like one of them is like, you could jump off a building and it won't do any fall damage. There's one that's like, oh, if you touch an enemy, you won't actually get hit. Like you won't get damaged. Just small things like that. There's another one where it's like, oh, if you have this, you will hear a little bell ringing, and that means that a secret is around. So it's like small stuff like that. Some of them is like, oh, if you have this attached, your damage to lightning attacks will be minor. So, and you can attach these to yourself like anytime in the game. So like there's a boss that like does lightning attack, and you're like, oh, I actually have this bead that makes the lightning attacks minor to me. So I'm just gonna press pause, attach that, there we go. So it's all about like learning like the enemies and like their abilities and stuff like that, and then you always feel like you're progressing every time you're going through the game. The lore in the game, like you also collect, there's a lot of stuff that you collect, and some of it's like the items that I was telling you about. There's a lot of items that are all about lore, so when you pick them up, they'll tell you like a little bit of background story about certain places, or just kind of give you like a riddle or whatever. And those lore items that you actually collect have another thing for like a side quest. So if you collect all of them, then you'll unlock a chest, which I don't know what's in that chest, but like everything just has something to do with the game. Like it's not just like, oh, pick this up and learn about the lore. Like it actually has something to do with like a side quest or something. But like I said, you can like completely ignore those side quests and just do the main, beat the bosses, go to the main guy, beat the boss there, and just go. But there's certain items that you'll probably need to, like, if you want to go around and actually adventure out to like more areas of the map. The one thing too is when you do die, you basically, this is kind of like Dark Souls. When you die, your soul stays where your body, where you actually died. So you have to go back. So you find these little temples that you can actually place your sword down. It will light up the temple, and then that's a save point. That's a checkpoint. And then if you die, you go back to the last checkpoint that you actually stayed at, and you can just adventure back to where your body was. But at the time when you do die, your mana bar basically gets a vine, and it blocks some of your mana off. So if you die, like 3 or 4 times, that bar will actually get blocked. So then you won't be able to use your special abilities as much as you would actually want to until you actually collect those dead bodies, like your soul, and then it goes back to normal. But like a lot of people were like, oh, that's kind of annoying. But in my gameplay, I only used the special abilities, like the mana, like during a boss fight. I never actually used it on certain enemies at all. So like losing, like dying was never really a big issue for me, because I would usually die at at an area, like at a pit of spikes. So like that's obviously I'd just go back and grab it and whatever. Or like if enemies actually did kill me, I would just go and learn go and collect it, and then just kind of learn their animations again and kind of see like when I can parry and when I can like dodge their attacks and stuff. But the combat in the game too is pretty easy. It's just either you have an attack, you can attack the person, you can do this dash ability where you can like sometimes go through them, so when they're about to attack you can just kind of dash through them and then be behind them, or you can just parry them. So it's like a block and ability, and if you do it properly then they'll hit you, and then you'll just parry them. You'll do an animation of like hitting them, which does a lot of damage. Super simple. You kind of just get used to it like pretty quickly, and you're just like, okay, yeah, cool. Like at first, like I was kind of learning the ropes and I didn't really know where to go, and then eventually when you get into the game, you're like, all right, like I'm gonna soak into this game and just kind of go through it all.
Is the game designed in a way where it wants you to use magic and use the mana more?
Not really. Like you can literally go through the whole game without using the mana at all. Like those are it's just there for you, right? Like the abilities that I have for the mana are like the lightning bolt. A few of them are, another one is like if you activate it, your attack abilities will go super fast, but you really don't need to do it. Like sometimes during the boss battles, I actually completely forgot that I actually had like magic abilities. I was like, oh fuck, I should actually use this. So like you don't always need to use it.
Aside from it sounds like this game has many layers to it. Like there's many things that are going on all at the same time, many things to pay attention to.
Like it's a lot of backtracking. Like my buddy Will at work, he's playing it as well, and every time I like talk to him about it, he's doing something completely different from what I'm doing, and he's collecting certain things that I don't have, and I'm like, oh shit, like I should maybe backtrack and see if I can find that. It's time consuming, but like if you enjoy kind of like backtracking and just a simple platformer game, like you should just check it out, Evan.
Is there like dialogue in it? Like do you interact with characters in the game, and do they tell you story and stuff, or do you
you can interact with like NPCs. They'll sometimes give you side missions, or not side quests. Like they'll like talk to you and be like, oh, like if you find this guy and like grab this relic or something, bring it back, whatever. Or some of them will actually give you like backstories about certain areas or whatever. Yeah, it's super fun. Another cool thing too is whenever you die, and remember how the vines, like you have to collect your souls and shit. If you die so many times and you're like, fuck man, I don't want to go back and like collect all these souls that I lost, like, which never really happens unless you like completely suck at 2D platformers. But you could find these statues, and if you pray at them, then at a certain cost of money, you can just get rid of all those sins. So basically all the souls that you lost and like the vines that are blocking your mana bar, if you pay like $300 at the statue, that that mana bar will be completely gone. You don't have to collect your souls or anything like that. So there's other ways of figuring out like, okay, well, like if I died all the way down in the sewer area and I'm already at this top of the mountain, like I really don't want to go back all the way down there to collect it. You could just find one of these statues and just pray at it, and then it will just collect the soul for you. You don't have to worry about it.
But does it cost money to do that, or cost any kind of resource?
Yeah, it costs like maybe 300 coins, and like the money that you get, like every time you kill an enemy, you receive money. So you always are like kind of like farming in a sense, like, well, not farming, but like you're like, oh, if you're adventuring into an area where killing enemies and stuff, and then you die and you're like, oh shit, okay, well I have to figure this person out. You go back, you collect your soul, you fight the same guy, you die, and then whatever else. So you're always just collecting money, so money is not really an issue in the game. Like I've never had like an issue where I was like, fuck, like I don't have enough money for this thing, or like for this ability, or to meet up with this merchant and I don't have enough money for this item that they're selling, which like I need for a side mission or whatever.
Is there a gear customization system, like an inventory? Can you collect different weapons and collect different armor and blah blah blah?
Oh no, there's no like armor pickups, like new weapons or anything. You just have your sword, and like the only thing that you use for the inventory is like the relics, like the special relics that you pick up. So one of them is like the bell that rings, the one that like is like called the silver lungs, so you can go into like a gas area and you won't take damage, or like the beads, which are like small things, which is like don't take fall damage, don't get damage if you touch an enemy, or your health is a little bit higher than usual or whatever. Just small things. Like it's not like too intense where you're like, fuck, like I need to like figure out which ones I need and all that bullshit. In any case, what I do is if I collect one of them, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Yeah, I'll put that on and just see what it is. And then I completely forgot that I have it on. Like it's not a big deal.
Actually, the more you talk about it, it sounds like this game draws a lot of inspiration from Hollow Knight as well.
Oh, yeah. But Hollow Knight is just way more intense.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I find Blasphemous is kind of more... they're a little bit lighter on certain areas. Like in Hollow Knight, there was like a small area where you had to like jump through this little area with spikes everywhere, and you had to like drop down, and if you did one small movement like wrong, then you would hit one of the spikes and you would die immediately. In Blasphemous, like they have certain things like that, but like they're a lot easier, and I just feel like it's way more fun in a sense. I'm just like, okay, yeah, like I could do this, and if I fuck up, I'm like, oh, that was my mistake, like I did that on purpose, or I did that on my end. Whereas in Hollow Knight, if you did one fucking small movement, like you had to be so precise in certain things in Hollow Knight, and that was the piss off. But yeah, I'm excited to finish this game. I will probably have it done by our next week.
Right on.
But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it.
You'll have to spoil the whole ending for us.
Oh, I could just spoil the shit ending, probably.
Actually, you have to.
Sorry, Christina?
What I really noticed when John was playing it is the art style is very like grotesque.
Oh.
Like some of the enemies, I guess, or bosses, like the nipples are saggy and like old lady with like two heads. I don't know.
Yeah, like there's one NPC where, so one of the side missions, Evan, was like this fucking egg that was like covered in hair, and then there's 3 plates, and basically you had to find 3 items. And this is a side mission, like you don't even need to do it if you didn't want to. Like it's just an area where you find it, and if you're interested in doing it, whatever. But I found the 3 items, and I placed it there, and this egg opened up, and it was like this girl that had like 3 faces connected. It was like her face was all fucked, and then like she had just like saggy tits like hanging down, and like her hair was
beautiful.
Yeah, and her hair was like covering, like she was completely naked, but her hair was like super long and like covering her like private parts and shit. I was just like, whoa, like I was not expecting that at all.
That sounds super hot.
Yeah. Yeah, the art style though in this game is just so cool, and like the way that the bosses look, like just recently, like this is in the trailer, so it's not a big spoiler, but one of the bosses is like this gigantic baby, and this baby is just in the background, and it's like just whining constantly. And the main boss that you can't attack the baby, but the main boss that you're fighting is like this type of snake. I don't even know what it is really. And while you're fighting the snake, this baby will whine, and then this circle will pop up on the floor. And if you actually are in that circle when the baby comes over, the baby will immediately grab you and rip you to shreds. Like it's just a one-hit kill. So you're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, so, and then like certain other bosses, like one boss, it's like a skull face, like this it looks like a king, and he's like laying in the air, but the things that's holding him up is like a bunch of hands. And what you have to do is you have to attack the hands on the bottom, and then once all the hands are destroyed, the guy will actually fall down, and then you have to attack his face. But then while you're doing this, other hands are coming onto the screen and trying to attack you, and then this guy in the air has this staff, which actually he's trying to hit you as well. So the whole point of like the boss is just kind of learning. It's a learning curve, so you have to learn their animations, like their abilities and stuff, and then like you'll die probably a handful of times, and then eventually you'll be like, okay, he does this, like I need to do this. Like it's just super simple. You're always feeling you're progressing through the game, which is super cool.
See, I had this exact same experience with Mega Man when I was playing Mega Man 11. I know you guys were like, oh man, you would die all the time, it would piss you off so much. I think Cristina said that specifically, but it's you repeat it over and over again, and you're just learning. As you just force it into your brain and you keep doing it, you're going to eventually learn what the moves are when they happen and stuff. Exactly. So you do feel like you're progressing. I find a lot of platforming games are like that. It's awesome.
Yeah. And if you are really into the game, like I said, I got sucked into this game. Like when you die, you're just like, oh, that's cool. Like I'll just go back. Like you're always learning something, and it just the fact of like the story and stuff, like from what's going on, it's just super cool. I'm fucking loving this game.
Well, cool. It sounds like a very respectable game.
Yeah, you can find it on Steam. It's pretty pricey right now. It's $30. So if you like are willing to just wait till it goes on sale during like a Steam sale or something, but put it on your wish list. It's definitely a good game. And then the last game I played this week, I actually finished. It's a game that we already talked about, and I basically spent one whole weekend just playing the shit out of it, and it's Control. Remedy's Control. And I don't want to go into too much detail because we've already talked about it a bit, but
we'll just spoil the ending. It's fine. Just tell us the ending and we'll move on.
The ending's fucked. Like it was pretty confusing at one point, but
is there a guest appearance from Max Payne?
I wish. Well, actually, there's a character. It's cool. This game has a character that uses the Max Payne voice actor. So
yeah.
And the Alan Wake, and all that bullshit. So this game's cool. Like the abilities that you get in that game are just amazing. Like I finally I was able to get the one where you can like fly everywhere and shit, and like it just makes the battling just so much cooler when you're like just floating in the air and you're like grabbing items and you're just tossing it to enemies. And like the thing about that game is eventually, like once you start upgrading your character and you're doing some of the side missions and you're getting more XP, and you keep just because the skill tree is in certain parts, so you can literally just upgrade, like everything for your focus, like your ability to lift stuff to the point where you can actually lift like really heavy items, like a big a truck or something, and you just like toss that to the enemies. So like at near the end, I just kind of felt like I was so overpowered with the ability where I can pick shit up and toss it to enemies, where the fight, like the combat was just super simple. But overall, I would recommend this game. It's probably up there for game of the year for me.
What difficulty were you playing on?
Fun. The side missions are fun. The weapons are cool. I get like a fucking machine gun out of a pistol. Like, what else can you ask for?
I can ask for Max Payne to appear in the game.
That would be actually really nice.
Yeah, would be.
That'd be amazing, actually.
I'm curious because you said over time you were given the powers and they made you overpowered. What difficulty were you playing on?
I think I was playing on normal, actually. So it could be a little bit different. Like, there's an ability that you get where you can pick up a bunch of like rocks and stuff, and then like the enemies that attack you, you're not. It's kind of like a shield for you for a bit. I feel like because I was playing on normal, some of the combat was super simple, but if you're playing on hard, I think you would use some of the abilities that I never used, like the shield ability and stuff. I think I would use that way more if I was playing on hard or whatever. But
Right.
there's some like boss battles in the game that I use. Like there's times where I died and you had to like figure out, okay, like what do I have to do here and whatnot. But yeah, the story is really cool. It's fucking nuts. Like I don't even know how to I couldn't even explain. If someone asked me, hey, I don't care about spoiling Control, can you explain everything that happens in Control to me, like point by point? I'd be like, nah, I can't. Like, that's fucked.
Cool. I like games like that though, like where they have
Yeah.
like that Metal Gear-esque weird
Yeah.
psychological confusion thriller.
Yeah, it's cool. The graphics look really nice on the game. Like I would love to try the ray tracing on it. Like Christina has a 2070 actually, so we could do something
Yeah.
like that. But
Yeah, you have the RTX, so you can do that.
yep. Another cool thing too that I noticed, like once you do beat the game, you go back and you can basically like do more of the side missions and stuff if you want, like stuff that you missed. Another cool thing that I noticed, they do like timed missions. So randomly these missions will pop up on the screen and be like, hey, yeah, like go into the control room and kill like these many guys, and you have like a certain amount of, like you have like an hour to do this, so you can actually accept that mission and go do it, and you'll just unlock, I think, more XP or something. But I thought that was pretty cool because that just keeps on, like, if you do complete all the side missions, you complete the main mission, and you can, if you're like still loving the game, you're like, I can't put this game down, like these missions will always pop up and give you a reason to go back to. But yeah, I recommend this game 100%. It's on
Very cool.
Epic.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Oh, it's not on Steam?
No, they.
Oh.
I just read an article that they got a lot of money to put it on Epic. A lot of money.
That must be the reason why Epic is just suddenly surging with business and they're doing so well.
Oh, for sure. Like, fucking, why not though? Especially
I wonder what
Remedy, too.
I'm wondering what the appeal is for a developer to go onto the Epic Games Store.
Well, well, first of all, Epic doesn't take a lot of revenue. Like I think it's Steam that does like this thing where if you have a game on Steam, I think they take like 40% or something like that. But I think Epic does like 10% or 20% of the revenue. They'll be like, oh yeah, we get that.
Yeah,
But
probably just right now.
With the exclusive, like with them being exclusive for Remedy, it's good because Remedy isn't really attached to any other publisher, right?
Mhm.
So like they're lonesome. They're like CD Projekt Red, right? Like they're
Right.
not owned by EA or Activision or whatever the fuck, like Sony or whatever. So for them to get this exclusive deal, and depending on how much they got from Epic, like fuck yeah, like I would probably do the same too if they came up and was like, can your game be exclusive to Epic? We'll give you, this amount of money. Fuck yeah, I'll do it. Like if it gives me enough money to be able to do a sequel or for a next project or whatever, or to pay my team and still have enough for something else, fuck yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, it does make sense. It does. It does.
Like Epic has a good style. They're doing something good. They just need to really fix their store.
They need to fix the actual app, yes, because it's trash.
Epic's great.
Oh, hey Christina, how are you?
All the free games though, have you seen it? Like this week is Metro 2033. Last week was all the Batman games. They have a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, they do have a good selection that they've been throwing on there for the free games. I just wish they would fix the fucking app because it's garbage. The user interface.
Yeah. Anyway. Like, what's garbage about it?
Okay.
So
we could get into that. Like, we could probably devote a whole episode to that because I'm very picky with.
The one thing that is annoying is when you want to purchase more than one game.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Yeah, they only have a la carte, so you can only purchase one game. And there's a story where a guy, when it first came out, some guy was like, because they had their epic sale, and he bought like 5 games, and after his 4th purchase, they locked his account because they thought it was someone hacking his account. And so he had to message Epic and be like, dude, no, I'm purchasing all these games because your sale. Like, if you had an actual cart, I could buy all these 5 games at once, but you have a la carte, so I need to only purchase them at one at a time. So he had to go through this huge progress of like getting his account unlocked. Another thing too is I feel like the store is kind of messy, but
yeah, the store could keep like they don't really have it. It's basically you scroll down this huge list of games they have. It's not really categorized.
Yeah.
You can search for games, but it's not really categorized.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it's not. The layout is not intelligent. Like, it requires you. It's probably on purpose, but it requires you to just dig through it, like comb through it and explore it, and like just keep going down and see what there is.
Remind you of like what is coming up again.
Yeah,
like what good games they actually have on there.
Yeah, but this is just, it's overall, it's a new modern style of applications that people are making, and I'm pretty old school when it comes to visual layouts of programs. So I'm just not really fond of this whole this new movement of layouts. Like Discord is one of them too. I hate the way the Discord is laid out.
Did you hear about Rockstar, Evan?
No. What about them?
They made a launcher for all their games too.
Oh, perfect.
So ridiculous.
So, but people are thinking that the reason why they did this is because maybe they're getting ready to eventually release Red Dead Redemption 2 for PC. And if that's the case, it makes complete sense.
Very possible. Yeah.
Yeah, because why would they randomly, I think it was last week, like on a Wednesday, they were just like, yeah, if you want, you can just download our launcher and you can get GTA San Andreas for free if you download it. And then all your games from Steam, like all the GTA, Manhunt, whatever, like those will all get transferred to the launcher and you can play them from the launcher. But it just seems kind of weird. Like there's something else about it. Like it can't just be for GTA 5 because that game's been out for years now.
Right.
And it's still going strong, don't get me wrong. But like there just has to be something else holding back. Like they're holding back something, and I'm guessing it's Red Dead Redemption 2.
I think it'd be a waste for them to not have Red Dead 2 on PC because the game is massive and so well done, and it's insanely detailed that it deserves to be on PC.
On PC as well.
Yeah, you'd get access to such better graphics and such better performance on PC.
Honestly, if it came out for PC, I would replay it on PC. I fucking loved it on the PS4. It made my PS4 run like a fucking microwave, but hell, I'm down to replay it.
Yeah, it's like
yeah, it was loud. But another cool thing too, if they would be willing to do this, is add Manhunt 2 to their launcher, because you cannot find Manhunt 2 at all for PC. Steam doesn't hold it.
Yeah, they would totally make money off that. Absolutely.
And have the adults only version.
And then remaster every single one of their games.
Oh, if they remaster,
I'm sure they're on the way.
Actually, I don't think Rockstar would actually remaster any of. Well, they did GTA 5, but they didn't remaster it. They just upgraded it to a higher, like PS4 and whatever. But I don't think they would actually like go back to, let's say, like GTA 3 and remaster it. I think they'll just keep on pushing out like sequels or whatever, or like a new IP. I don't think Rockstar is that they're money hungry, but I don't think they're that desperate.
Like Capcom, like every single Resident Evil has been redone like 3 times.
Or Activision with Call of Duty, or like Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like, and that's the thing. I don't get it. Like Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out for 360. Then they remastered Call of Duty Modern Warfare when Call of Duty Infinite Warfare came out, I think. Yep. And then now they're releasing Call of Duty Modern Warfare this year.
Like, it makes me wonder, was the remaster just a trial run for them or something? Were they?
No, it was honestly because they had so much backlash from Infinite Warfare that they're like, fuck, we need to figure something out to like sell this game because people are fucking hating on it because it's fucking sci-fi and all this bullshit. So they're like, oh, let's just remaster Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But the only way you can get that game is to purchase Infinite Warfare. You cannot purchase it separately. That's how they did it. And people fucking fell for it.
Nowadays you can though. I think you can buy.
A year later, they were like, "Oh, by the way, you could purchase Modern Warfare. Like, we got the money from you guys for Infinite Warfare. We're good."
Mm-hmm.
But that's it for me. By the way,
speaking of Call of Duty, this is a perfect segue. Sorry,
just about to say that, Evan. Actually.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while since we talked, so a lot to say.
Yeah.
So I have nothing but good things to say about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. I really don't have anything bad to say about it, which is very surprising given my very short and limited history of Call of Duty games. Like, I jumped on the bandwagon way back in Black Ops 2 when it came out, and I remember you were there, John, with the first Call of Duty game that I ever purchased.
I was actually so excited.
Yeah. And so that was my introduction into Call of Duty. And since then, I thought about it today, I've purchased every game except for Black Ops 3. So I have Infinite Warfare, I have Ghosts, I have Advanced Warfare. Or no, I don't have Infinite, sorry. I have Advanced Warfare. And Ghosts.
Okay. You're not
Black
missing
Ops 4.
You're not missing out on Infinite Warfare, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't think so. It's the cheapest selling Call of Duty game on the market.
Yeah.
And they don't usually bring their prices down for Call of Duty games for any reason.
No, the only one that was super cheap was Ghost. That's the one that did really bad. Everyone hated it.
And the second to that was Advanced Warfare. But I'm surprised, Infinite Warfare was second cheapest. I am surprised though, because looking through who developed all the games, generally what people are saying is like the Modern Warfare series made by Infinity Ward is like the highest rated series of the Call of Duty games.
Yeah, because that started off with the people who actually made Titanfall.
Mm-hmm.
They used to be with Infinity Ward, and I think after Modern Warfare 2, I think they wanted bonuses or something like that, and Activision fired them. There's this huge thing. You can just search it online, but basically they went through they went to court and everything. I think they settled it out of court, but and then fucking they made Respawn, and then they signed up with EA, the nemesis of Activision. But it was a big mess. But yeah, Modern Warfare 1, 2, and I did not like 3, but I think Modern Warfare 1, 2, and Black Ops 1 was when I really got into Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I even tried those games and I appreciated them. But so the reason why I'm beginning with a history of the games is because I think it's necessary to talk about the history going into this game, because it completely blows the history of Call of Duty out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel confident saying that as a fairly short-term Call of Duty player. I've played 4 or 5 different Call of Duty titles, and none of them have felt this polished and this focused.
And this different, in a sense, really.
Yeah, it's plenty different, and there's a lot to say that's different about it. But I found myself, so the beta just happened, right? They had the closed early access beta for PS4 only, and then they had the open beta for PS4, then took some time off, then they had the cross-play early access, and then the cross-play open beta.
Yeah, for Xbox, PC,
Which
PS4.
I think is really cool that they're doing that.
Yes,
it's
very cool.
So cool. They need to work on it a little bit, but it's fucking cool. I cannot wait for that. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be the new thing for the next gen. Is, you know how certain games do certain things like throughout like the years, like I think now it's going to be all about crossplay. Like you need to have crossplay for your games. Like if you don't have crossplay, I think people will be pissed.
Well, companies are gonna want to stray for it though, because it's all about that exclusivity. So like PS4, like sure they're joining crossplay for this Call of Duty, but wait a second, they announced that Xbox has to wait a whole year for the co-op part of it.
Yeah, the survival
like, they
mode.
still are trying to add their own little spin to it.
Yeah, they announced in small font during the single player trailer. People noticed in the trailer in small fucking font near the end, saying that the Spec Ops mode is going to be available for Xbox, PC, and whatever. But the one game mode that's going to be exclusive to PS4 for one whole year is the survival mode, which is basically like, Evan, did you ever play Modern Warfare 3?
No.
So basically it's like zombies, but instead of zombies, it's actual like enemies, and you have to like set turrets up and shit. It's super, super fun. And it's just wave mode after wave mode and all that stuff. But basically Sony was able to get the rights for that for the exclusive deal for that for one whole year, and people are fucking raging right now.
Well, Activision did indicate a preference for PS4 in this game. They're really heavily pushing PS4 first.
And that's the thing too, like people don't really realize that during the PS3 and 360 era, 360 had the exclusive rights for everything for Call of Duty. They had the early access or the map packs for certain games. They had the DLC for GTA 4. PS3 didn't get that for I think a year and a half or whatever. So like, I don't really understand. Like, I understand the exclusive thing. Like, I don't like the exclusive bullshit. Like, just fucking release the game. But like, you're always gonna have that. You're always gonna have the exclusive. Like, I'm pretty sure Xbox had the Tomb Raider game.
The timeline to me personally seems excessive. A year? Who's gonna be playing in a year? In a year, they're gonna announce in like what? E3 next June, they're going to announce a new Call of Duty coming out that Christmas.
Exactly.
So like, who's going to be wanting to play that co-op mod when it does get released?
No, yeah, and you definitely have a point.
Okay, maybe a month, sure, that's fine, but a year, like, no.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But also, a new thing they're doing with crossplay is they're kind of they're not making it console exclusive anymore so much, but they're making it more publisher exclusive. So you need an Activision account to do the crossplay, right?
Yep.
So they're drawing attention to Activision, and I guess in some way they're drawing attention to Blizzard too. So
yeah, but it's super easy to actually. So because my sister and her husband came over last weekend, and they were playing on the Xbox here, and then we were playing on the PC, and I was like, oh, let's try the crossplay. And it's actually super simple. You just go to your friends list. You can choose the friends from your actual friends list, or you just click on search friend, search for Activision account, and you just type in, the actual name that your buddy has, and then they'll get an invite or like a friend request, and there you go. Super simple. Like, you don't actually have to go on their website and search it. You just do that all in game, and it like takes like maybe a minute or two, whatever. But yeah, I know what you mean though. Going like Activision and whatever.
Yeah. Either way though, like the main thing that I notice about this game as somebody who's pretty removed from Call of Duty, like I don't have a lifetime of playing with it. I didn't jump on the bandwagon too early. Is I see this new game as like the first actually innovative Call of Duty game in a long time. Like,
yeah, I agree with you for sure.
Just in this beta, I don't know about the other games specifically, but I have not played a Call of Duty game where they have this many new game modes in it. Like, actually really different game modes. Like, they put Ground War and Gunfight 2v2 in the same game. So a 2 versus 2 quick firing small map, like balls to the wall game mode. And then they also threw in a Ground War, which is basically Battlefield's Conquest equivalent in the Call of Duty world. 32 versus 32, and you're capturing points.
That was interesting to see. I watched John play that.
They do have a lot of work for that game mode, I find. Like the one level that they showed, I think they only have they only had the one level in the beta. But the one thing or a couple things that they need to fix the spawn points. Because there's times where I'll spawn and I'll just die immediately, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it basically, whenever the screen is zooming in at like where you're spawning, it seems like your body is already there, and there's no immunity to attacks. Like people will just see you spawn and they'll immediately kill you. So they need to fix that. Also, that it would be nice to spread out some of the flags in the middle. I think it was C, D, and maybe I want to say B.
They were very close. Yeah. So
close that was where the whole battle was, and if you even went close to that, you would die immediately. Like, it was just so fucking annoying. So I wish they kind of like spread that out a little bit, because they have that huge map. There's certain areas there that you can kind of spread out, and that's what Battlefield does best, is they spread out the flags out a little bit more during conquest. So you kind of have to run towards that map, or that flag. You know, you'll get into a little bit of gunfight there, and then once you get to that little area where the flag is, that's when you have that huge gunfight. But to have them so close together, you basically, it's just it's a war there. It's ground war, it makes sense, but like it's insane. Like, I wouldn't never want to spawn in the middle of that, because you would just die immediately constantly. It was so annoying.
That is true. And the A and B points were so far off to the edge of the map that no one even cared about them. You could just go by yourself and capture them easily.
Yep. And then the tanks, like the vehicles were really cool, but then eventually people found out that they would be able to take the tanks, go up onto the hill where no one would actually be able to go to, and then just basically snipe enemies from C, D, whatever. They would just shoot their fucking their missiles there and just collect, points, and then get the kill streaks and whatever and use those. So like it was just super annoying. Like there's just a lot that they need to fix, which I know they will. It does have a lot of potential. I think so.
Yeah, like this. So with the multiple game modes like this, I think the whole game has potential. That's really the gist of what I'm saying. We've gotten small samples of many different things you can do with this game. Like, and then there's smaller ones, like the gunfight and ground war are probably the two biggest differences, like the most unique game modes. But then there's also like the night vision goggles one, which is it's pretty cool.
I love that one.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Like I read some articles comparing the night vision goggles in this game to the first Modern Warfare. And in Modern Warfare, it was more of a gimmick, where basically they just put a green layer of color over the screen and it didn't really do anything.
Yeah.
But in this game, it's actually legitimately, they try to emulate night vision goggles, like the way that light bounces off of surfaces and stuff.
Yeah.
And there's actually pros and cons to taking off the night vision goggles and putting them back on. Like,
yeah, and that's the thing I didn't realize, was that you were able to actually take off the night vision goggles.
Yeah, they don't tell you, which is weird. But anyway, I stumbled upon that by accident myself. But if, like, for example, if you're wearing night vision goggles and you look up at a street light, it'll blur your vision because there's a lot of glare. So it might help you. Yeah. So it might help you if you're going into a highly lit area to remove the night vision goggles.
I didn't get a chance to play that game mode. I watched a couple people play it and it looked different. I feel like it's like unnecessary, but at the same time, like, you'd want to play it. I don't know. It's kind of like it's forgettable pretty much.
It is forgettable, I would say. It doesn't immerse you very well, but it makes you play differently. Like you have to play more tactically, because your night vision goggles don't go very far. They really don't. And you really can't see shit like 20 feet in front of you. And you also everyone has laser sights on, enabled by default. So when you aim down your sights, the laser sights are shining across. It's basically like no scoping the whole time. And there's a lot of confusion for me around what people are saying about not being able to aim down sights, because I can do that. I have always been able to do that. I can aim through a scope in this mode.
Yeah, I think like with like snipers and stuff, you can still aim down, but I think like if you just have like a red dot scope, as long as you take off the night vision goggles, I think you would just aim
I was using the M4, the regular M4, and I was using a regular 4x scope, or I was actually that one
M4,
and a different
one. Was that an SMG or AR?
No, assault rifle, AR.
Oh, okay.
I was using one of the standard scopes, and I was looking down at no problem, and I saw on forums online, I heard you say it, I heard my stepbrother say it, that they're like, oh, you just can't aim down sights and stuff. I'm like, yeah, you can. I was aiming down a scope the whole time.
Certain weapons don't have that option.
I don't know. I really don't know. But
No, 'cause
anyway,
the gun that you're using, I was doing it. Do you have gameplay of that? Because I want to see that.
yeah, I do. I definitely do.
Okay, yeah, I'll put that in the
So
podcast because
we'll throw it
that's
in.
crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, so maybe I was thinking maybe it's for people who didn't have scopes, like if they were using iron sights, then they would do the thing where it tips it sideways. I don't know. I really don't know. I haven't been able to see that.
I would use a red dot scope, and I would always have to use the laser, unless there's a button to turn off the laser. Maybe I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, of course, there's team deathmatch. They allowed us to play that too during the beta. Allowed you to play domination. Domination though, they gave a 20-player option, which I find is just a little too chaotic, and you can't get much done. If you're, it removes the tactical element from it, which I think this game is unique for because it sets you up to play tactically.
Yeah.
But the 20-player domination is just chaos, and it brings you back to standard savage caveman Call of Duty playing. You know, run and gun, jump and dive, save yourself because there's people surrounding you in every corner. I'm not a big fan. Actually, talking about the ground war, one thing that impressed me was that you have access to your regular loadouts.
Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. And you can also change your loadout mid-game.
Hold on. In Battlefield Conquest, if you played, I guess, do they have deathmatch? You can't have the same loadouts?
No.
You can.
In Battlefield? Yeah, you can.
But I think the reason why it matters in Call of Duty is because you have the kill streaks.
Okay, like the different perks and whatnot.
You can still use your kill streaks in this.
And I think that's another thing they need to fix. Because I think with the kill streaks, I feel like it's too much. Like there's just too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there was a time where I got an airstrike. I was like, sick, fuck, finally I got an airstrike without fucking dying like every second. And I went to use it, and they were like, oh, airfield's too busy. You can't use it right now. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I waited a bit, went to do it again. Airfield's too busy. You need to wait again. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I just want to use my goddamn airstrike.
So if everybody had the ability to use them all the time, it would be even more chaotic. I don't think that game mode needs to be anymore.
No, and I'm not saying that they should change it to like let the kill streaks happen more frequently. I feel like they should actually slow down the kill streaks a bit, like kind of add, like, because there's a time where like nothing would, like the radar and stuff, like the UAV and everything was going on, which is fine, but there was a time where like no one was actually activating any of their kill streaks, and then randomly someone called the phosphorus kill streak, and dude, that fucking kill streak is so cool. It literally like it destroys the whole map, and then basically because of the flames and stuff, the whole map is like covered in smoke wherever it like landed. So now when you're whenever you're like attacking at, you know, a certain flag or whatever, running through the level, the whole map is like covered in smoke. So now you can barely see. You're running through the smoke. People are running by you. You're like, oh, that's an enemy, but they didn't fucking see you. Like, I thought that was super cool. And I was just like, and I thought it was even cooler whenever there was no kill streaks happening for a bit, and then randomly a phosphorus kill streak happened. And I was like, that's cool. And I think that's what makes Battlefield a little bit more memorable, is when, because every time you play a Battlefield match, you know, random shit happens all the time. Like it's super memorable. Yeah. And with Call of Duty, I think that's what I want with Ground War. But if you're constantly just having fucking kill streaks left, right, and center, it's not memorable. You're just constantly respawning, dying, and it's just.
Yeah, right now it's a little too chaotic, and they should fix some stuff about that for sure.
Yeah, and if they could make the levels a bit bigger and kind of spread out everything, fuck yeah, I'd be down for that too.
There's always the possibility that they are just trying all these game modes, and these are all the ideas they've had, and they may not decide to keep them in the full game. I don't know, but
no, I think they will.
They probably will, because they've actually gone through the work of developing them all, and they all work well. Yeah. You know,
like Ground War, they definitely will keep, because it's a new one, right? But
like the headquarters one, I still don't really understand it. Like it's a moving checkpoint. And I think from what I understand, there's like a spawn point will appear on a certain point in the map every few minutes, and then you have to rush to it, and one team or the other has to secure that spot. And I think once you secure it, you have a limited number of respawns that your team can do. And if you don't capture it, then you don't get your respawns back or something like that.
Yeah, I think like the longer you have it captured, the more points you're collecting, right? And then eventually that will disappear, and it will go somewhere else in the map. So then you're traveling back to wherever that is, right?
Right.
It's a cool concept. I never, like, honestly, the only game modes I really played in Call of Duty was like team deathmatch, kill confirmed, gun game, whatever. But headquarters, once you get the hang of it and you kind of know what's going on, it can get really chaotic, especially if it spawns in a fucking in an apartment building and like people are running up the stairs and throwing grenades in there and shit. But yeah,
I don't know. I found that game mode pretty forgettable, to be honest.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, like I would play it for a bit, but I would never just be like, let's turn on Call of Duty Headquarters right now. I'm playing it right now. Headquarters, come on, baby.
Yeah.
Like Headquarters. It's fast-paced, critical thinking. You can like get like 5 kills with 1 grenade.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, because they're all at one point, right?
Oh yeah,
kind of.
You throw it in one room, everyone's in there.
And the last new one they introduced to us was Cyber Attack, which is basically Counter-Strike. You're given a bomb and you have to plant it on a location and destroy it.
Yeah, this is the only one I never played, was Cyber Attack. I never got a chance to play it.
It's pretty competitive.
You would say it's like Search and Destroy? You ever played Search and Destroy on the older Call of Duties?
I think I have. Yeah.
It sounds familiar, where like you have a bomb, you set it, and does the game end whenever the bomb goes off?
I'm not sure, actually. I didn't play it enough or pay attention enough to.
Okay.
But one unique thing about it is that there's a new mechanic in this game mode where, like, it happens in rounds, right? So if your whole team dies, then the round is over and you restart. Or if the bomb goes off, I think, then you restart. But you could actually yeah, so it must be. Anyway, but you can revive your teammates during the round.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so you have the ability to keep the round going, and it isn't just over immediately if your team dies, right?
That's cool.
So if you can manage to sneak around, if you have a few minutes, you can coordinate with your team, like, okay, you go revive this dude over here and I'll distract the team. So it brings out a little more team play, for sure. But each game mode definitely has a purpose. Like there's a good mix of like really team squad based game modes, and there's ones you can totally do solo. Like Gunfight. I find Gunfight my favorite game mode of any Call of Duty game.
Oh, yeah, I definitely
hands down.
I definitely agree. Yeah, I had a blast with it.
That is one reason I would turn on this game. I'd be like, okay, turn on Gunfight.
Yeah.
Like giving Gunfight the only game mode in the alpha was a really good decision, I find. Because I think they know that's their key selling point for the multiplayer.
And I think too they're gonna add more game modes. Like they'll probably eventually add in. I don't know if this is all the game modes. Maybe they'll add more whenever the game releases. But they'll probably add gun game, which is usually fun. And maybe they'll have those events where they'll test out new game modes. Like maybe they'll definitely have kill confirmed. Maybe they'll do like sticks and stones from Black Ops 1, which was like it was so fun.
I just hope they don't go sell out and fucking put prop hunt in there. That was the stupidest decision that they've ever made.
They might. Maybe that will be like an event game or whatever. But the one thing that I really want them to fix for this game, and it's the one thing that was really annoying, was the what's it called? They basically, if you're doing super super good in Call of Duty, like in a game, you play 5 games, you're fucking just destroying the whole team.
Yep.
Eventually you'll get put into another server where you basically are lined up with everyone that's as good as you, and then eventually when you go into there, you're just getting fucking owned. You're just sweating hard, and I don't like that because it's so annoying. eventually you get lined up with people that are just way too good. Like you're just like, oh, maybe I just was just a fluke and I did so well, and now you're playing against people that are fucking like MLG basically, and they're doing a bunch of shit that you don't do. Like there's times where I was playing where like people would fucking slide and then jump and like start shooting at me. Their sensitivities at like fucking 7, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like I did nothing in that game mode, and it's just it's a rage quitting type thing. Like I eventually would just always rage quit because I'm just like, I'm not having fun. Like just keep it like with the original Call of Duty and Modern Warfare 2, like just have everyone in one server, like fucking who cares. And that was the one thing I hated, and I noticed, and there's stuff online, like people did their research on it, and you can see like some guy, you know, killed himself so many times that he got into a lobby that like people, it looked like little kids were playing, like learning how to play. And he was just like, this is weird. Like,
yeah, it's bad to not give the player control over whether that happens, right? And they don't tell you what's happening either, so you just get like, maybe like, I remember last podcast, I think I talked about, you know, when the beta went open, I started seeing that happen. Like I was panicking and I was confused as to why the hell I was suddenly thrown into a game with people who were playing like idiots. They really were. And I feel like that, looking back now, that must have been a result of the matchmaking that they were doing. Yeah,
most definitely that. And I really hope they fucking just get rid of it. And then another thing too that people found out was that they're actually going to be adding, you know, loot boxes or whatever, like their COD points and all that bullshit. Sure. Obviously, I wasn't expecting it to not be in it, but the one thing that I really hope they don't do is, you know, like the fucking skins that you can get on guns. You know how like in Black Ops, like people get the skins and they make like the guns like fucking diamond purple and all that bullshit. Don't do that. Don't ruin the game like that. If you're gonna add skins, like add really cool camo skins, but don't go and like make like the gun completely purple or completely covered in gold. It just, and then if that's the case, is just making another fucking Call of Duty game that just
Call of Duty Gangsta.
I hate it. I fucking hate it. It's so dumb. Like when we played Black Ops 4 and people would be like, they killed me, and I would see their gun, and it's just like fucking crystal purple with diamonds and
moving. They have like LCD screens on the side of the guns. They have like moving pictures on them.
So dumb. And I'm like, dude, that's I don't like that. Like it's just, I'm nitpicking there, but like, yeah, I hate it.
It's another reason I like this game. This game feels like it's taking itself seriously, which is
that's another
very
thing
unheard
too.
of.
Yeah, if you're gonna make it serious, you don't see, you know, a fucking soldier running around with a goddamn purple gun and fucking flames coming out of it. Like, no, you don't see that. Make it realistic. Make a fucking blue camouflage that looks cool.
Yeah, and have a little keychain of a fucking, I don't know, a bullet or a ghost.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
so that's
overall,
my spiel. I'm very excited to play this game. I'm actually finding myself jonesing. For the first time after a beta, I want to go back and play it again, but I can't.
Considering you've already pre-ordered it on 2 systems.
Sure did. Yep, I pre-ordered on PC and on PS4.
So get ready, folks, for Evan to only talk about Call of Duty.
That's the plan.
I'll be with you, man, because I'm definitely buying it for PS4. So I'm still skeptical. Should I buy it for PS4 or buy it for PC? I don't know yet.
You'll figure it out.
It honestly, and one last thing I'll say about it. So the last game they made, I think, was Black Ops 4, right? That was the last one? Okay. So between Black Ops 4 and Modern Warfare has better graphics, and it's overall a better game. Black Ops 4 can't run on my PC. It just can't. It just runs like absolute trash.
Yeah.
And Modern Warfare runs like a charm. Why is that? I find myself going back and forth thinking, like, how could they have fucked up so badly in developing the game for PC that it just can't run?
That Black Ops 4 is a bigger game. Like when I downloaded it, it was the biggest download I think I've ever had on my PC.
There's more to it. It's not well optimized at all. Like there are games that are plenty huge. Like when they present the visual game to you and like the frame rate and the gameplay and stuff, you can still reserve like the computer's resources to do that part fine, which Modern Warfare did. They focused on like making high priority like the stuff that's happening on screen, but Black Ops 4 seemed to do a bad job at that because I'd get a lot of stuttering, and yeah, just I had to turn my graphics down, which didn't even really solve the problem because my CPU was being used so much. Anyway.
Yeah, it was just the CPU. I had the same issue. Even Cristina.
Oh yeah, it was running so hard, and I had a brand new graphics card.
Yeah, so it didn't even make use of, Black Ops 4 didn't make good use of your computer's hardware, but Modern Warfare, it does an excellent job with that.
Yeah, we can all run it fucking on high.
Absolutely.
Runs perfect. Yeah, I'm excited for the game.
I'm glad Infinity Ward is back in development, and that they seem, whenever they make a Modern Warfare game, they seem to really do well. So it's a good thing that they're coming together to do a Modern Warfare again, because the result so far is very impressive.
I just hope that they stick to their guns, no pun intended, and don't fuck it up, and then hopefully they just throw out anything that's fucking sci-fi related.
Pretty much almost gone gold, so.
No, I meant like, you just stay with these types of games. Don't make a sci-fi game where you're fucking floating and flying and sliding and wall jumping and shit. No one wants that anymore. Fuck it. You did it once, you did it twice, you did it 3 times. Fuck it.
Yep.
Actually did it 4 times, but whatever.
Cristina.
Yes. I've played something completely different than you guys, but still shooter.
Oh yeah?
I pre-ordered like 5 months ago Borderlands 3 on Epic, baby. Hell yeah.
Love that Epic Store.
Oh yeah, exclusive to the Epic Store on PC. So this bad boy came out September 13th. Or was it September 12th? I forget. But ever since it came out, I've been playing the crap out of it. This is a great sequel to the game. I'm enjoying it even more than Borderlands 2, which I didn't think I would. It looks amazing. Like Gearbox, specifically, like with Borderlands, has their own art style that makes it so unique. But just the fact that it's now been the last one came out 2012, so it's now been 7 years since the last one. It just looks crisper, it looks better, it runs faster. I don't know what to say. Like, it just looks amazing. But specifically, I was a little bit nervous before it came out, is because all the reviews for it are all like, oh, it's just another Borderlands. Like, they didn't even really change the storyline. It's crap, and all this stuff. And I hate reading reviews before playing something, especially something like Borderlands, where it's probably the most invested I've been in an action RPG over the years. Like, I played the crap out of the first one and the second one. And it's one of those games, like, you play it for 6 months straight, and then you put it down and you revisit in the next couple of years. Like, it's very transitional where you can play it at any time in your life. So when I started playing it, I was like, please God, let the storyline be really good. And it is. They brought back their comedic style to the storyline. So essentially, you're back in the galaxy. You're going through planet to planet, trying to basically save the planet by all the militarized corporations. So basically, all the soldiers and whatnot you're trying to fight. You're looting the crap out of it, so it's specifically a looter shooter game.
A slooter, they say. A slooter.
Immediately, the main character that you talk to and are with is a siren. Her name is Lilith, and she basically goes through all the starting of the story with you. So you essentially pick a vault hunter. There's 4 new vault hunters. I decided to pick Mose, which is a gunner, so she can summon a giant mech. And this mech obviously pilots different weapons on each arm, which of those weapons you can go down a huge ability tree and customize the crap out of it. And there's other 3 characters are Zane. He's an operative who controls the battlefield with drones. He has clones and barriers. And then you have Arma. She's a siren, like Lilith, deals elemental damage with her magical arms. Then you have this robot. He's a Beastmaster. His name is, how do you say that? FL4K? Is it Flack?
Looks like Flack.
Flack, I'm not sure. He has like wild creatures you tame, and they fight alongside you. So I'm not very familiar with the 3 characters. I briefly saw like a little bit of gameplay, mostly of Zane, which I probably will replay the whole game with next. But specifically for the character that I played as, is a lot of interesting stuff that you can add on to the mech. So basically your ability can be summoned, I think it's like every couple minutes. It depends how fast your recharge is. So one of the abilities on the tree also is to upgrade how fast your ability recharges. So basically when you do go ahead and use your ability, you're the mech for, again, a specific amount of time. So it's fueled by fuel, essentially. So you can also get the ability to hold more fuel, so that way you can actually play as the mech longer. So you start off picking one of 3 different weapons you can add onto your mech, and I decided to add the grenade launcher and an AR. No, it's not an AR. It's similar to what's in Doom, like the laser gun.
Yeah, the laser beam.
The laser beam or whatever. It's blue. Very effective against large enemies. So basically playing as Moze, you're a vault hunter and you are trying to loot all these planets faster than the antagonists. They're 2 characters who are twin siblings. So one's Troy and the other one's Tyrene. They're just like that classic teenager villains who act like bandits of Pandora, so the planet they're on. And they're essentially trying to get to these planets and loot them and kind of stir the pot before you get there. And your mission is basically to get there before they do. The game itself has better gameplay, so it's much smoother when you aim and shoot. The guns are endlessly around the world. Like, there's so many different guns you can play around with. They added even more comedic value to most of them. Like, some of the RPGs, like I had an RPG the other day that throws burgers. Like, basically that's what explodes as burgers. And the art style of the sniper scopes are really, really cool. Like, it kind of looks like a retro, like 1920s scope. All the epic guns have like their own traditional like art style on the actual weapon skin. I don't know, like, it just looks so cool. Like, it's just endless, and it's the same satisfaction when you get like a new gun. Like, you're like, oh my god, this one's even better, this one's even cooler. You want to like go loot this crazy area that has like a ton of enemies because you want to get that one loot box. I also noticed in this game there's a lot more CPU characters around the world, like a lot more enemies condensed in different areas. And then when you go back to backtrack, those enemies respawn. So it's like you're constantly like running into enemies. You're never like staying still and being able to work on something. Like, there's always an enemy in front of you. Also, the only thing is, which I kind of do agree with some of the reviews that have come out about the storyline, is side missions are the same typical repetitive thing that they do, where you basically complete a bunch of things for someone for them to be able to do something for you, and it's just like repetitive. So like in each planet that you visit, you have like a million different side missions, and you kind of do have to play them because all the main bosses and the main missions are leveled at a certain level cap. So it says that the boss is level 16. You really should be level 16. Like, I went in to try to fight the second boss and it says level 13 on him. I was like level 9. It was like impossible. So it kind of does force you to do the side missions. In that case, you do get like epic loot, like epic weapons, more money, radiums back. So you go to the classic guy in the sanctuary to go buy ridiculous weapons from him, and shields, and of course there's grenades, and you have like specific what are they called, John? When you go to, you have like your weapons, your shields, your grenades, and then there's like a specific
Gunsmith
skill to your character. That's what it is.
Oh, special ability.
Yeah, special ability. You can find
your alt.
So yeah, the sanctuary is quite the same as any other station hub of the game, where you have like the different people you can go up to and see their stores. A lot of the classic people that you can talk to around the world are back, like Ellie. She's like the bigger girl that does all your transportation needs, so vehicles. The vehicles, of course, are a lot more decked out. You can drive a new vehicle that's kind of like looks like a huge wheel. So you're basically sitting in this huge wheel, and the guns are kind of like attached to the side, and it's like a faster, more lighter vehicle, so their enemies can more easily destroy your vehicle, pretty much. So it's only good to like get places fast, and then kind of just jump out and shoot your enemies. What else?
Another cool ability that they added is super small, but it adds so much more to the game, is the slide mechanic.
Yeah, the sliding mechanic I noticed was a lot different.
Because I don't think you were able to slide in Borderlands 2, but it just adds more.
I'm trying to think if you can slide in Borderlands.
No, I don't think so. But it just, I feel like the movement and everything in Borderlands 3 just feels way different. Like, to slide into cover and all that bullshit, like it's cool. A lot of people are saying that it's like Borderlands 2.5. But
that's what everyone's saying, because they're like, oh, the storyline's not any different. I mean, it is different. I feel like it's more immersive. It's more fantasy-like. You feel like you have more of a purpose when you land on a planet, because you have to like go through the whole ship in order to get to Ellie, to get to your vehicle. In a sense, it's annoying, but it's more realistic, like how you would actually do it. Like, if you land on the planet, you wouldn't just magically get out of your, unless you have teleportation, magically get out of your ship. You actually have to get into a vehicle to be able to land onto the planet, because you're not landing on the planet, kind of thing. Also, like, this game, like, it was advertised to like the crap out of it. Like, remember I was talking about in a different episode that they even conjoined with Fortnite to like advertise it. Like, the sales will keep this franchise alive. Like, despite what their reviews are saying, like, oh, it's just a 2.5. Like, there will be a Borderlands 4 most likely, or another like pre-sequel or something like they did the last one.
I want to add something to the about the reviews. Is I feel like, because it's such a huge gap from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 3, I feel like a lot of people who play Borderlands 2 basically, you know, they loved the humor in Borderlands 2. They were younger and all that bullshit. And I feel like now, because it's such a huge gap, so you said 7 years, I feel like maybe some people just don't accept that type of humor anymore, because they're, in quotations, older now. So I think now, with people that are just saying that it's like, oh, it's the same shit, the jokes are just corny and not funny and all that bullshit, I think they're just, I don't know. They're just
to
over
go
it.
along with that, they're getting a lot of criticism for keeping some of their comedic humor on like dwarfism, so they have a lot of enemies that are midgets, quote unquote.
Fuck off. Like, literally, like,
we're just like so sensitive these days.
It's so annoying. I could go on about that all day, but like, honestly, like, it sticks to the core. It's Borderlands to the core. It's
Borderlands is like you're a psycho. Like, you are crazy. You're generally like out of this world. Like, you don't care what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you want like bigger guns, bigger everything, because you just want to blow up everything. Like,
and that's the thing. Like,
that's the humor of it. Like, you're there to like, it's not a realistic world.
But that's the thing. People were like obsessed with Borderlands 2. They were like, when is Borderlands 3 coming out? When is Borderlands 3 coming out? And finally they released it, and people are like, oh, it's the same as Borderlands 2. It's like, well, yeah, like, it's to the core. It's Borderlands. Like, it's what everyone wanted. It's exactly what everyone wanted. And now people are just
older.
Yeah, and people are just complaining. Like, that's the thing. People will always complain about anything, and it's just annoying. I know for a fact whenever it goes on sale, I'll pick it up. I'll play it with you, Christina, and I will fucking love it. And that type of humor fits really well with both of us. So, and even you, Evan. So, fuck it. Like,
buy it.
Yeah.
Maybe if you want, maybe once it goes on sale on the Steam store, just so I can have the option to refund
the
it.
next Steam sale, it will be for sure.
Well, no, in a year's time, because it's only coming out on Steam in a year or 6 months or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, on Epic, it's going to go on sale.
Yeah.
But I do want to highlight some of the most memorable things that I've had so far that stood out to me, despite the repetitive nature of the side missions. There's one that stood out that it doesn't really give away much, but it's called Porta Prison. So you go to this planet, Prometheus, and you encounter a porta potty, and someone's talking to you in it. So there's this guy that's trapped in it. He basically didn't level it out with like a gang from the planet, and basically his consequence of not paying them back is he got stuck in Porta Prison. So it's essentially a facility where these robots take guard on prisoners that are in porta potties. So like, you go in and you start shooting all these hovercraft robot people, and they're like just cracking jokes about him being in the pooper. Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah, and that's the type of shit that I will fucking love. Like, that's all I have to say about that.
It's hilarious. So like, you're killing all these robots, and he's like just cracking jokes with this porta potty, and then finally, when you let him out, when you think you're gonna let him out, he gets there's like a self overdrive mode in the porta potty, so it eventually, like, it warns that someone's trying to open it, so it basically just gets jetted out into space. So he never gets out. He just like goes up into space. It was funny. That's
hilarious. That's actually just the sound of that mission. I want to play it.
Yeah, and then there was also one side mission, so hard. Like, I actually thought it was an end boss to that planet. No, it was like a side mission, so you have to try to kill this guy called Kilovolt. You have to go through like all these waves of enemies in this building to get to him. And then essentially when you do get to him, I was like level 13, he was level 16. Yeah, like, it was impossible. I was like, I am not trying more than like 10 times. If not, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So I have to actually go back and kill him. But speaking of bosses, each planet there's an end boss. So the first boss was shared between another boss that was on that planet, but essentially it was just like a tutorial. So the first boss is just a regular psycho, not regular, like so psychos are like the main generic enemy, and then you have like enhanced psychos that are badass psychos, so they're a bit harder to kill, and it doesn't have what's it called? It doesn't have a shield. So the first boss is quite easy. His name's Shiv. You go through it pretty fast. And then the second boss on that same planet is Mouthpiece. So that's the boss that we saw in E3 gameplay and some of the live demo gameplay they also had at other festivals. But essentially, Mouthpiece, he shoots like electrical kind of like electricity at you. So he uses like speakers around the map that he's on to try to kill you. So you have to try to get off the ground when he does that. So he ground shakes with like electricity. And he was kind of hard. He also had a shield. But I noticed when you get to the next boss, like, it progressively gets harder. So the last boss that I just beat was on the fourth planet, Athena, and it was Captain Trant. and he, oh my god, it was so hard. So he also is electrical, and he's resistant to fire damage. And a lot of my guns have fire damage, so you can use like a gun that uses poison or whatever other damage there is, elemental wise. And it took forever. I was looking because I recorded it. I think it took me like 7-8 minutes to beat that boss, and that was like on like the 4th try.
That's cool.
So like it progressively makes you want to think like, oh my god, I should actually really collect guns that are different elemental damage, because what I was doing was sticking to whatever I equipped, and then I would just sell all my guns because I wanted to like make more money. But no, I should really keep backups just in case with elemental damage specific to a boss that you're about to fight.
Yeah.
And I always keep the classic like sniper, so easy to shoot out waves from a far distance. Always have to have a RPG, and then I'll switch between pistol and shotgun. Mostly I use a shotgun because I've noticed in this game the range on shotguns are insane, and if you scope it, it's gold. Like you don't even really need a sniper at that point. Like the range with a shotgun is crazy.
Yeah, shotguns look way better in this one too.
Oh yeah, everything just looks way better. The guns are smoother, more customizable. Generally, everything just plays better. And essentially, it does what no other top looter shooter game does. It's just like adds longevity to it. Like you can play this game for years, for sure. And already the first DLC I think is coming in the beginning of October or the end of this month. I forget. So there's gonna be a lot more stuff that you can play to it.
Are the DLCs free or is it paid?
Yeah, is there a season pass?
Oh wait, no, I think they announced
pass because I bought the deluxe. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they said that they would release free DLC. I don't know. Fuck it.
No, I don't believe so. I think that they're still doing but you know what? It's worth it because I don't know if you played all the previous DLCs for Borderlands. They're quite long. Like the story from it, I think adds 20 hours to each DLC part.
I wouldn't even consider them as DLC. I would consider them as expansions, really.
Yeah, they don't cheap out when it comes to storyline and missions and what you can do in the world.
Yeah.
I still have yet to play with someone else. Like essentially Borderlands is co-op. Like that's why we played Borderlands 2 is to play 4-player co-op to progress in the world with everyone. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I want to end off my part with the recent state of play, Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh, baby.
So as soon as they announced state of play that they were going to, because it's been 1.5 years since they showed us fresh gameplay. When they said they were going to show us something, I did not think they were going to give away that much. I feel like they gave away too much.
No, I'm calling it right now. That trailer, there's something about it they're tricking us. People are thinking, that trailer is about revenge, and basically it's just her girlfriend dies and now she's getting revenge. I feel like because they showed that, I really think it has to be something else.
I get what you're saying. The hidden part is I think you're gonna A, play as Joel, and B, Joel's gonna have a lot more a part of it than because they didn't really show him at all. Like they showed one little scene where he's aged and
he looks pretty fucking old.
And his face looks totally different.
5 years.
Yeah.
5 years of constantly on the run, I guess, is gonna age you.
But yeah, man, that game looks gorgeous. They said this is one of the biggest games that they made and the longest. So I am happy with that. There's not going to be any multiplayer, so it's going to be full on single player. So they're focusing all on single player, which is great. I watched that trailer twice because I was just like, this looks fucking amazing.
What I liked is what I did is I watched the trailer, then I watched what they released for, I think maybe only PS4, in-game demo conversation about it with the developers. And from what they were discussing, they added a lot more realism to it. Like the Last of Us made you literally stressed when you played it, going against these clickers, oh my gosh, should I throw a bottle? Should I do this? I don't have enough ammo. What am I gonna do? This seems like it's gonna be 20 times more stressful. Like dogs can now they have dogs with them, the enemies can now track your scent and immediately tell them where you are. So you have to close doors. You have to, as soon as you see the dog showing them that you're in that room, you got to book it, because that dog's going to find you right away. And dogs attack you, so they grab your arm, so you have to like get away not only from enemies, you have to add another step to your stealth. So if already you're not good at stealth games, this game will make you feel uncomfortable. Like I'm actually nervous to play this game because I'm not a stealth player. I'm always running gun. I'm always like, I'm just going to kill everyone in the room and deal with it. But no, this game seems like they're going to force you to have that stealth aspect of your gameplay and make you feel uncomfortable. Because they even said like some of the new enemies, so like they were previously really slow in the Last of Us, they're going to be even faster. So you have to have bottles. You have to pick up stuff around the world. You have to conserve your ammo. And they're saying Ellie is not actually a great player. Like she's not as smart as her girlfriend. She's not as agile or not as good with weaponry. So like you have to be able to build up your ability tree and conserve ammo and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the one thing I want to talk about that was with the ability tree is, from what I've heard, is that someone from Giant Bomb, they were playing it and they saw the ability tree and they were like, oh cool, like I have this and whatever. But then they noticed too that in the world you can pick up like a hunting magazine or whatever, and that will actually open up another ability tree. So depending on if you want to, you know, scavenge around and try to find stuff, I wonder if you will actually miss, you know, some of those manuals or whatever to unlock more abilities in the ability tree. And it will probably make more people kind of scavenge around and try to find and make sure you can unlock those or whatever. Or maybe it's just it's like a set piece where like you walk into a room and like a small cutscene kind of happens, you pick it up. Like you will never be able to miss out on it or whatever. But I think that's really cool. And another thing too that I saw was whenever you're near the table, like the crafting table, what they did there, like it looks way more detailed now. Like you like, oh, it just looks so cool. Like adding
it's,
like
once again, added realism. I think this Last of Us and even the first will be talked about for generations to come.
For sure.
Like not only their inclusivity of pride, so like adding a lesbian character, which is so like it's brand new for the video game world, but also to add so much realism to it that makes you feel like you're so immersed into the world. Like they were showing off the winter scene with Ellie, and also they were showing how the CPU characters interact with each other. So CPU soldiers have names for each other.
Yeah,
they actually
cool.
get concerned or agitated or angry when they find dead partners on the ground,
or even dead dogs,
kind of thing, and they act differently. So for you to be immersed in that type of world, it's like it's breathtaking. Like someone's gonna want to play that and keep playing it, kind of thing.
It's insane, like just the way games are now.
Like, they get so deep.
But Last of Us is its own mind-bending category. Like it's just like the elite of video games. So it's like they have such high expectations from the first one, and I feel like they are going to go beyond with this one. I really hope I'm not going to be biting my tongue when I say all this stuff, but I have a feeling like this is going to be the best game that you'll ever play.
Oh, it's going to be good, and it's going to be memorable for sure, and it's going to be a day one purchase. The one thing I'm actually excited to see is, because I know, Evan, you're probably going to buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see how that fucking runs on a regular PS4. Because
I'm
I'm
worried about it, to be honest.
Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, from what I've seen of that game, it looks gorgeous.
The date.
Yep, February 20th.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah. So, whoops, sorry. That will be.
Evan,
really
who knows? Maybe you'll have a PS4 Pro or PS5.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I don't know if maybe if eventually PS4 Pro goes on like a nice sale, then I'll consider getting one.
EB Games, they do the trade-in. What John did, 100%. They're going to do that for Christmas time.
You could always just ask too, Evan. Like you can always check their website, or you can always just call and be like, "Hey, you guys have a deal for trading or
But
whatever.
in a sense, though, Evan, like PS5, like isn't that coming out soon, like 2021 or 2020? I don't know if you want to hold off, but
Yeah, I don't know, because I don't think I would invest that much money into a console again.
Mm-hmm.
Like what I find myself needing right.
lot.
Yeah, what I find myself needing right now is both a better PC and just a slightly better PS4. Like I would do with the PS4 Pro and then call it quits there.
Yeah, I mean, like essentially, like a lot of people are going to do that. Like people that same thing with Microsoft. I bought an Xbox One X. Do I see myself buying the new console? Absolutely not. Maybe like later on when I need an upgrade, but Xbox One X is great. PS4 Pro is great. It's kind of asking a lot for people to invest in another new console.
I think the reason why I would buy the PS5 is just for the exclusive games that will come out for it. Like I would be willing to do that, but the thing too is like the games that come out that will be out for PC as well. Like I'll just play them for PC. So it's a thing now that I have to think about. Like, should I buy the PS5 on launch day or should I just wait a little bit or whatever? Like it just depends on the games that they release and whatnot. Like if that Ghost of Tsushima game is a launch title for PS5, I'm gonna immediately buy it because that Ghost of Tsushima game looks cool. It's a samurai type game. I'm a huge fan of like ninjas and samurai type games, so I'll definitely purchase it. But and also too, like I'm a sucker for new consoles and shit, so I'll just purchase it just for how everyone says I'm a collector. I'll do it. Fuck it. But yeah, is there anything else, guys? There's one thing actually I wanted to kind of mention. Actually, talking about the PS5, there are rumors about whenever the PS5 actually releases, there's rumors that a PS5 Pro will launch alongside the base PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
What's the Pro gonna do?
It's gonna be stronger, I guess.
But what? So stupid. So they release a not so good PS5 with a better PS5 Pro for what, $200?
Well, it's kind of silly that they haven't done that already, considering that many other consumer products do that. They release a light and regular or whatever.
Are you referencing like iPhone when they do like iPhone XR, XS?
Yeah, or even like
like
cars do that too. Like there's the Honda Civic LX versus EX, and there's like the CPU processors.
But honestly,
they're just doing it on the same launch date.
Yeah, like if they do that, I'm perfectly fine with that, because when they did the PS4 Pro, a year later or whatever, it kind of messed with me. And Evan, you and I talked about it a little bit, where it was just like the generation it kind of feels weird right now. Like it feels like, because I got the PlayStation 4 Pro I think last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember, but with them already announcing, PlayStation 5 is in development, it feels way too soon, because I just got the PlayStation 4 Pro and I'm just like, man, like it just seems way too soon. But yet the PlayStation 4 has been out for a couple of years, like a long time. So if they do release, both of them at the same time, I'm fine with that, because if I'm a huge PlayStation fan, which I am.
That's not fair though. They're putting pressure on people who won't necessarily be able to pay that much for it. They're like, oh, but I want the best thing. But if I buy the PlayStation 5 regularly, I'm not going to get what the Pro has. And then they kind of feel like discouraged to even want to buy that PlayStation 5. They're like, oh, I should just wait for the Pro. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like their sales will be less on the PlayStation 5 regularly.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when they do announce it and what's going to be different about it. Like, and another thing too is, from what they've explained on what the PlayStation 5 is going to be, the price range, I don't know how they're going to get it as low as the PlayStation 4 was when they first launched that. Like,
they may not.
Yeah, that's the thing too. So like, and if the PlayStation 5 Pro is going to be like an extra $100 or whatever, I'll dish that out. Like, fuck it, I'll do it. But it better be worthwhile. You know what I mean? Like it. And the thing too is, the PlayStation 5, like the basic form, is going to still be able to play everything else fine. But we'll just have to wait and see what the specs are going to be for if they do this. It's just a rumor, so just take it with a pinch of salt. But Yeah, I would rather, honestly, I would rather them do that than just release a PlayStation 5 Pro model like a year down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
It's just annoying because people will just purchase all these PlayStation 5s and then be like, by the way, we just released the PlayStation 5 Pro if you guys are interested. It's like, well, what the fuck, man? Like, I just purchased the PlayStation 5 for my kid on Christmas or whatever, and now you guys are releasing a PS5 Pro model, which, you know, maybe my kid would want that more. So
well, it's gonna make people upset either way, but I mean, making it both on launch date is different, and that might actually work for them.
Because honestly, look how Xbox, you know, they released the Xbox One X, and now they're like, by the way, we're doing Scarlet, Xbox Project Scarlet. It's just like Christina just bought the Xbox One X, you know, a year or two ago, and they didn't add any new games to it or anything like Gears or whatever. But like, come on, like, fuck, like, you know, you're already like, they've made already like 4 consoles in this generation. You know, they released the original, they released the Xbox One S, they released I think there's an arcade version one, which they usually do, and then they released Xbox One X. So we're 4 consoles in this generation.
That's consumerism for you.
It's money
We're just
hungry.
gonna eat it all up, so we can't.
That's true.
Well, we talked about a lot this episode, and
We did.
I
We had a lot
really,
to get
really, really am excited for Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for them to release a little bit more about it.
Oh yeah. Okay, folks. If anyone else has anything to say it now or forever hold your peace.
World War Z Horde mode coming season 2, and crossplay is coming for that.
Oh, we should check that out.
Yeah, we should all actually, maybe we'll do that, folks. We'll have upcoming weeks some World War Z new gameplay content that we'll talk about.
Yeah,
We keep saying that and we don't do it, so we should actually do it.
We will. The next upcoming weeks. We will.
we'll set a date for us to actually play together. We'll record gameplay of it, and then we'll do it. But yeah, that's everything for me though.
All right, dudes. We will catch you next time on the Plus 3 podcast.